Hello, welcome to episode 10 of the gojenn podcast. I am now officially into double digits, where if I stayed on my schedule of once a week, it would take me almost 2 years to get up into triple digits. So, who knows what's going to happen? We'll just have to wait and see, won't we? I'm so excited. Was talking with my grandson yesterday, and so it's been 10 weeks since I made my first podcast, which was very, very bad. Excuse me. But I did it. And that was the hardest part about the whole podcast procedure, besides all the technical stuff that I've had to learn. But boy, have I learned a lot. So I'm really happy about that. And in honor of our 10th episode, I have a special celebration at the end of the podcast. So stick around. Or don't. If you're not interested, don't. I'm not ordering you to. I'm just saying if you'd like to. Get comfortable in your chair. If you got something to drink, some tea or some coffee, soda, whatever. I do have quite a bit to talk about today. The big news for the week was that I have had my podcast accepted to the iTunes website. I have really been working to try to figure out why I couldn't get the tech stuff behind the podcast so that iTunes would accept it, but I think I finally got it straight, and I'm hoping to reach more viewers that way. I know on Ravelry, that's the best way to get people who love yarn, but excuse me, that was my dog. He's trying to dig a hole. Ravelry is a good place to get people, but there's some people who haven't found Ravelry, or they're new to podcasts. They may not know about YouTube, so maybe they're new to iTunes altogether. So I'm hoping to get those folks. And there are people who listen or watch their podcasts via a podcatcher app. And you can't do that off YouTube, so you can do it on iTunes. So I'm hoping to get people that way, and just to build our community and welcome new people into the fold. More chairs, more tea, more coffee, more sodas, but that's just fine. It'll be really good with me. I did have 2 sick days from work this week. I had a little bit of a bug, but I am well rested. Today is Sunday, Easter Sunday, April the 5th, episode 10, or April 4th. I'm not sure. 5th, I think. So, happy Easter for those of you that celebrate Easter. Let's get to it. One of the first things I wanted to mention is that I tried out the Cubics knitting needles. These are size 9, 5.5 millimeter on a 24-inch fixed cable. And they're cubic. They're not round. They're shaped like a square. For me, I did not enjoy them. And that was the reason, is because I keep my tips of my 2 knitting needles on each other all the time. And when I pull a stitch off, I'm pulling it off with the needle tip touching the other needle tip. And so when I have to bump around the corners, it just doesn't work for me. I'm going to pass these on to a friend and see what she thinks about them. It may be that since I knit continental, that has something to do with it. I don't know. I'm not saying they're bad needles by any means. They just don't work as well for me and the way I knit. So that was one. Okay, whips. New whips this week. Isn't that exciting? It's been so long where all I had to talk to you about was my sweater, and then I had my cattywampus hat, and I had my sweater and my hat, and my sweater and my hat. So now we have something new. It lives in my Star Knits bag that I just love by Star Knits. She and her sister do a podcast, the Weasley Sisters, so I really enjoy that. And she makes really good bags too. It's got a pocket inside of it. Love pockets. This, I don't know how long I've had this. Not very long. This is some Gnome Acres yarn, Gnome. Really like Amanda, that is the queen gnome or head gnome or whatever she is. So I am, the colorway here is Lucky You, E-W-E, cuteness. And this is just a stockinette hat, roll brim. It's called the Easy Peasy hat by Knit Picks. You basically set your stitch count, which I cast on 80 stitches. This is a worsted weight yarn. So you cast them on, and then you just knit, 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 knit until it's so many inches high, and then you do your crown decreases. So it's just some beautiful colors. The green, yellow, and there's a little white, different shades of green, different shades of yellow. I am really enjoying it. It's just good. You don't have to think about it. You're just going around and around, but it's different around and around than my sweater, which my sweater is not, I'm not angry. It's not in timeout, but it's just resting. So I think it needed a rest after it had been so long that I was pushing it so hard. So I have one knitting whip, work in progress. I love the little plastic things that stops your bag from coming loose. Because I can just take this, throw it in my bag that I carry to work, with my lunch bag and my purse and my project, and then whatever else I have to take. I feel like sometimes I'm packing to move in. Okay, that is my Easy Peasy Gnomey Womey hat. This is my crochet whip, and it is living in my, it's a Coco Pelly, yeah. It's a Coco Pelly bag, where the fabric is anyway, and it's by Chicken Soup Designs. And when I saw the Coco Pelly fabric, just had to have it. Isn't that just colorful and beautiful? And I love Coco Pelly. And she doesn't, I don't think she has a tag in her bag. I need to email her, because I had to go back and look on my page where I have where my bags come from to figure out where I got that. So, and it came with a mid-sized Notions pouch and then a teeny little stitch marker pouch. Really cute. And it's well made. Okay, this is some Charlemagne. Oh no, we're going to go with that. Charlemagne yarn from Webs. Isn't that beautiful? It is from Webs. It's the Valley yarn. This is a fingering weight. It is more green than you are seeing. You're seeing a very blue color. It is very, there you're seeing it maybe a little bit better. It's a very greenish color. I would say, if I just looked at this, I'd say green before I said blue. Okay, the pattern that I'm doing is the Elise shawl. It's a crocheted lace pattern, free pattern on Ravelry, which I've just gotten started. But you can see how pretty that's going to be. Isn't that pretty? Very easy 2-row repeat pattern. I love crochet lace. It's just so delicate, and you get so much bang for your buck with crochet lace because it's very easy. I mean, when you start off crocheting, you start off with a chain stitch, right? You do. If you don't know that, you do. And there's a lot of chain stitches in crocheted lace, so that's what you're really learning on. So I started this on April 2nd, and I've got that's a little Star Knits stitch marker, and I always request the ones that are movable, because in crochet, once that stitch is made, it's made. You don't go back and go through it again like you do with knitting. Every time you come around, you just move it. You don't do that in crochet, which is fine. It's just different. So anyway, I'm really enjoying this. What I need to work on this is a day, and just to sit and knit. Excuse me, crochet. Huh? Heaven forbid I get those mixed up. But I'm planning on just going until the yarn runs out. And you can tell this is, I think, 440 yards that I wound into a center pull ball. And so I'm just going to enjoy myself with this. Normally, for fingering weight yarn, you would use maybe an E or F hook. Because this is lace and I want it to drape more, I'm using a nice big I hook, which is, I want to say, no, I was wrong. An I, US letter I, and it's a 5.5 millimeter hook. So this is more of a worsted weight yarn hook. And so you're getting a more drapey product. See, that's not, I know some people think crochet is stiff and icky. No big deal. You know, you use a bigger hook on a finer yarn, you're going to get a lot more drape. I hope you can tell that that's not stiff, and it won't be stiff when it's worn. So that's my crochet love. That's my crochet whip for the week. So see, now I have a knit whip and a crochet whip so that my hands won't get tired of doing one and not the other. So that makes a big difference. One thing that let's see. Okay, yeah, this is a whip. You're not going to be able to see it very good. Excuse me. Can you see that? This is a mandala pattern, and I'm not positive who wrote the mandala pattern. I'm not sure. But I'm using sock yarn scraps and changing every row to a different yarn. And what my goal is with this piece, I've seen a different pattern used to make a circular pouch, little pocketbook that you can carry that's small. So that's my goal with this. I would like to, I'm going to fill in these spaces between the petals of the flower or whatever, and then back it with some black felt, and then crochet just a circular piece for the backing, and felt that have just purchased felt for that as well, and little I-cord strap, and I'll have a little purse with some crochet happiness on it. So that's in process. That's just it doesn't take but just minimal yardage of the yarn to crochet that. The hardest part is sewing in all the ends, in that. But it is really cute. And so I'm taking from three different patterns. I'm using the mandala pattern from one person, and then the bag pattern from another, and the strap pattern is crochet I-cord, I think, and I don't know that I've ever made that, so we'll just see. All right, so what's next? See, it's different from sweater, hat, sweater, hat. So now we have hat, shawl, mandala. Now let's see what kind of finished objects I have. Long ago, I started this project. This is the Modern Blanket of Flowers. This is what I'm doing with sock yarn scraps. In addition to making squares if I have enough. These are smaller. So up until last month, I'd had this many. So then this month, I made those down at the bottom and then joined them. So the idea behind this is, of course, to make a blanket of all of these. And so far not so much of a blanket, but they're pretty, they're colorful. I'm using Malabrigo sock yarn in a green colorway, but it really shows up gray. And I would have to say that I don't like so much that it might be taken away from the colorfulness of the sock yarn. I mean, this is a really bright pink, but once you put that gray around it, it kind of dampens it, depresses it, makes it not as lively. So I'm not completely happy with that, but well, it is what it is, I guess. That's our favorite saying at work. When there's nothing you can do about it, it is what it is. And this little flower right here, I saved him out, and I'll give you a guess why it's not joined to the blanket. Because these flowers all have 6 petals. Yep, this one got carried away and has 7. So it'll make a nice coaster on my desk. That's what you can use them for. No, because I went to put the edging on and I said, wait a minute, that stitch is not where it's supposed to be. That's because I had 7 petals instead of 6. And that just comes from not paying attention to what I'm doing. I get carried away. I'm watching a podcast or something and bing. All right, let's see. I also have I made some sock yarn blanket squares over the past week or so, and I was going to show you all of them, but since I've got my blanket pinned up on the board, next week I will show you the blanket squares so far, because they're so pretty when they're all put together. I'm going to keep the dark yarn away from those so that the colors really do pop. I don't know what I will join them with, but it's not going to be a dark gray or dark olive. I like bright colors. I'm a jewel tone kind of person. Okay, now I have something special, so here we go. If this does like I want it to. Drum roll and cymbal crash. Wasn't that fun? See, some podcasters don't go to the lengths that I do. It'd be silly. What was the drum roll crash for? This is another Star Knits bag. This was on her scratch and dent table. And so I got it to put my fiber in so that when I had, okay, another drum roll, just pretend. Spinning! I taught myself, I guess, based on YouTube videos, how to spin. And I am really, really pleased. Of course, that is not fingering weight yarn that has been spun, much more like bulky weight. And there are some thin and thick spots in there, but this is my first ever, spinning. So I got about 2 ounces of yarn, and I divided it into 6 pieces, sixth. So this is 1/6 of 2 ounces. And we'll just leave that for, yeah, figure that one out. But anyway, this is my first yarn. I had to watch a video because after I had this and I was admiring it, I mean, you can tell we are close friends. I went, well, now how do I get it off of here? And apparently I'm going to use my ball winder. So I'm going to probably spin some more. You see how this is left fluffy at the end. It'll be like this. This is another piece that's been, I've kind of pre-drafted it a little bit. So this turns into this. I was so excited to do this that I videoed the whole process. And because I love you, because I do love you, I edited about a 30-minute video down to about 3 minutes. I went on to great lengths to tell you the names of everything and why I was doing everything, but don't go by what I say. Go watch the videos on YouTube. They're excellent. One lady is Abby Frankmont, Franqmont, and she just really seems to know her stuff and to be a very good teacher. And then there's some other little videos. So I watched this one for a while, and I said, okay, and then I'd watch another one, and okay, I like the way they did this, but not so much the way they did that. So right here, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to insert that shortened video of my first spinning. Fiber on your leader. I kind of twisted it myself by hand. And they all just about agreed that the park and draft method, which I'm going to try, is best for beginners because okay, you don't want to let your you don't want to ever let it go backwards. That's bad. Okay, so now the energy is all in here, the twist, and I'm going to let the twist out into the fiber, and it really did go because now these fibers right here are twisted. I'm going to put some more twist in it. Oh, drop spindle. That's what they call it. And I think, you know what I think I just did? I think I spun it backwards to the way I did before. And they will tell you over and over, don't do that. So I'm going to make sure that I'm spinning towards the window. Okay. Towards the window. Don't go backwards. Okay, I've got a lot of I've got a lot of twist here in that. The idea is I'm going to let this twist out, park it under my arm if I'm standing up, or between my knees if I was sitting down. The reason you need to park it is because you're going to use both hands. That's the idea. So as I come out, the fibers that I move my hand down are spinning. Okay? Of course, the people, okay, I'm going to spin towards the window. And this is a lot of energy in here. So I like this twist. And I'm going to just let it flow back into this fiber. See how the twist has gone where I've released the pinch, and so it's gone up into this bit. And I'm going to draft out, pre-draft or draft out or whatever. I don't think I was supposed to do that. At any rate. And so I'm just going to let the rest of the spin go out. And it did. This wasn't twisted before, but now it is. Twist towards the window. Came off the hook. They all call that flicking. That's good. I'm happy with that. That's, can you see that? Yeah, you can. I mean, that's not professional. Oh, yeah, like I thought. Okay. When I am elected Queen of Spinning, or, I mean, it'll just be unanimous proclamation probably. But, so when that happens, we'll look back on that video and we will laugh and laugh and laugh. I find spinning very meditative, and I'm okay. I'm on my like second or third day here, but it's more meditative for me than knitting or crochet in that there's no pattern to follow. You don't have to know where you are in a pattern. You don't have to make sure you don't miss stitches, but you have to concentrate on it enough that it is meditative. It's very zen. If I didn't quite get that. But I truly, truly, truly enjoyed spinning on the drop spindle. And yes, I may have had to have a little Turkish mini spindle. Isn't this just the cutest little thing? It is a mini spindle, and so, and it's a Turkish, so it's different, of course. You can look at it and see it's got legs, Lieutenant Dan. That's a Forrest Gump reference. But you see the difference. This is round and has a long spindle. This is not round. It has arms and legs. And it comes all apart so that you can carry it in just a teeny little bag with a little bit of fiber. You can see that this is kind of thick. I think this is thicker than what I spun on my spindle. I mean, I don't know if you can really tell, but I seem to have problems with pinching and holding the energy and not letting it go back up into the fluff, because on the drop spindle you've got this hook that you just hook your yarn or your fluff into to hold it while you deal with the draft and the twist going up into the fiber. With the drop spindle, you have a little half hitch loop here that you have to manually secure. And apparently I'm not bright enough to hold the pinch while I'm doing that, because there were several times when I would be doing that and I would realize I had let go of the fiber, and the twist had traveled up into the fluff, and I wasn't ready for it yet. You can see that. It's nice. The Turkish is really, I mean, it's a pretty little uniform ball. When this comes off of the spindle, excuse me, when this comes off the spindle, I will have a little center pull ball, which is nice, because I'm going to have to take this yarn off the spindle and make a ball of yarn with, ball it or skein it, whatever I decide to do. But I am a better drop spindler than Turkish drop spindler, just because I'm need more practice. And for some reason I'm not perfect yet. I don't know why. So, but I did want to report on my progress, because this is the fiber and the spindle that I got at Yarn Tree Studios in Raleigh, and on the yarn crawl that I reported, and I am very happy with it. There's some challenge that's going on somewhere to spend 10 every day, and that's spend 10 minutes every day, and then if you do that, you'll have a bulk of yarn. And I think really, for me, if I just spend 1/6 of my fluff, of my fiber, I'll be doing good. I think that one of my problems is the pre-drafting, because you have to pull out your fibers before you're ready. And when you do this, you can just feel them sliding apart from one another, like tectonic plates of the earth. You can feel the fibers moving, like they're like this, and then when you draft them out, they're more like this, so they take the twist better and make yarn. I don't have that down yet, the drafting. You just pull it. You can't pull it like this, because that's like trying to pull a piece of your hair right here. So you can't pull that apart. But if you take from down at the bottom and up at the top, where maybe there's some overlapping, they will pull apart. And you feel it. You really do feel it. And it makes it fluffier and finer, which I think is going to be a key for me to really get the hang of. And it's no big deal if you just oops and pull too hard and that it comes apart, because you just put your fluff right back on and keep going. It's nice. And if you do decide that you want to do, maybe try to spin, the park and draft method, because obviously with a whole couple days experience under my belt, the park and draft method, you park the spindle under your arm while you let the twist go up into the fiber, and that works really well. So I highly encourage you to do that. It's fun. It's fun. It's another craft to learn. I think I would hate to think that I had gotten to the point that I didn't want to learn anymore. That would be tragic, because that's the whole point of things. I have really enjoyed it. I'm trying to convince my husband to make the spindles for me to sell, and I'll sell them on Etsy, because he's a woodworker, and he could whip up a whole batch. And as long as he was doing them in a batch, stain them, cut the pieces, sand the pieces. So I'm trying to convince him to do that. Okay, that was my drum roll moment for the day. Wasn't that exciting? I really, really did enjoy that. Okay, I think that's all my yarny fun. Books. On Audible, I was going to read the next in the Joe Nesbø series, the Harry Hole detective series in Norway. And the next book was Cockroaches, which was taking place in Bangkok. That was really good too. I was just as happy with that as I was with the first book that took place in Australia. So I finished that. And now I have started the third in the series, and it is, the book title is The Redbreast, and it is by Joe Nesbø and Detective Harry Hole. And apparently we are staying in Norway for this one. Very interesting, very interesting. I think this is going to have more, well, I know it does. It has more intrigue as far as the higher-ups in the police system. Everybody's covering their butt, and nobody wants to actually do anything to avoid a scandal or getting in trouble or whatever they're doing. So, but I'm sure Harry is going to keep me on the edge of my seat. And then I'm reading, what is that? Homebound, which is the first in the Chronos Time File series, and that is by Risa Walker. Very interesting. If there were more hours in the day, or if my job would just say, go home, we will pay you to stay home, then I'd have more time to read. And so I said at the beginning that I was going to have a special celebration for the Double Digits episode. Yay! Easter Sunday, Double Digits, spinning, drum roll. What more could you ask for from a podcast? How about a giveaway? I decided that, do you recognize this? My regular viewers will. This is Euro Baby Cuddly Cotton yarn. It is a second skein in the same colorway that I made my Cattywampus hat. I had forgotten that I'd bought 2 skeins, and then I made a hat out of 1 skein, and so I've got this other identical skein that I'm going to be giving away to one of my viewers, because I love you so much. Really. If I didn't make you watch that 28-minute video of me learning how to spin, boy, oh boy. I can tell you that in that video there was a lot of, who knew it would do that? I was very surprised when things worked and when they didn't work. So, here's what I'm going to do. Okay, to my wonderful friends, my viewers, I am going to open up a thread in the Ravelry group, and I would like for you to go into that thread, and just one post, so just one entry per person, and answer the question, how do you think I should try to get more viewers? And if you tell me that you think I have enough, that's fine. If you tell me you think that I should give $100 away to every person that signs up, that's fine too. Not gonna happen, but you could suggest it. You don't have to. You don't have to go into a whole lot of detail, but if you can give me your suggestions, what do you think? What if you had a podcast, or if you do have a podcast? What's a good suggestion to increase my viewership? Because I do want to increase it. I do want to bring more people into the community that we have. If I have inspired you in any way with my being willing to try new things like the spinning, yay. That's great. Tell me about it. Send me a message. But anyway, back to the drawing. Here's my Vanna White. Ta-da! This is the Euro Baby Cuddly Cotton. Whole skein, which is 202 yards. It's 100 gram skein. 100% cotton, but it doesn't feel, it's not scratchy like cotton. I will say that I got a little splitty with it when I was knitting my cattywampus hat. So that's just something you can know. But hey, it's free yarn. Okay. So go to the thread and in one post, tell me how you think I should get more viewers. That's all you have to do. Then, if you tell your friends, or if you're active in another group, or if your son or daughter is on Ravelry, or grandma, or whatever, and they come and they join the group and they win, okay, because when they need to, you have to be a member of the group to win. That's the rule. So if you join the group, you're a member of the group, you leave a suggestion, and then you tell somebody, and they come and they say, hey, my mama told me I had to come and get this, and she wants a yarn if I win. That's fine. I don't care. But if that person wins the fiver, then you will get a prize as well for recommending somebody to our group. Tell them what fun we have. Tell them that we're all about taking it easy. Okay? No stress. No drama, no stress, none of the above. And free yarn. I will draw for this on April 19th. I'll be podcasting on a Sunday that week because on Saturday I am going with my mom and dad to the Fiber Festival that's in Bedford, Virginia. I think it's the Liberty Fair Fiber Festival. And I'm going to be seeing maybe some alpaca and some sheep and llamas and goats, and I have no idea what all. I will probably have to purchase more fiber because I really enjoy spinning and I wouldn't want to run out of fiber. See? There's always a reason. So that I will draw the winner by random number generator. I will go and out of everybody who leaves a post on that thread. And if you don't stress over what idea. Don't think you have to come up with something original or really wild. You can just say, ask your friends. That's fine. That's fine. Don't stress. There's no need for stress ever with me, okay? I mean that. For my friends especially. So this yarn is in my grubby hands. In 2 weeks, it may be on its way to your grubby hands, okay? I will see you next week. Until then, I am wishing you a life filled with love and laughter. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.